Okay, on my camera. Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's nice to have all of us here again, and it's really awesome. I feel excited. I don't know why, but it's good. So we'll not waste much time while others still try to join in. We can go ahead and start. I'll go ahead and share my screen. So before this session, we actually had a survey where I sent out a form and asked some questions to see what most of us our problems are when it comes to getting remote jobs. And the responses I got, some were actually funny and some were exciting. Someone said one of the reasons why they don't get a remote job is because of dark forces like spiritual problems. Their village people follow them. And I don't think most times it's our village people. Most times it's just like the effort we try to put into these things to get what we want, right? So this session, as always and as usual, is going to be a very lively session. You're open to ask questions anytime. You're open to join in if you have anything to add when we're talking. When I'm saying anything, just raise your hands. And yes, the recorded version will be dropped in the group chat, and it will also be on our YouTube channel. So I'll also send us a link to our YouTube, so you can always go back to it. Okay, so please feel free to ask questions. Feel free to contribute. It's an interactive session. Feel free to add anything at all. We're all here to learn and help each other, achieve our goals, right? So today we'll be talking on remote job struggles, why most people find it hard to get remote jobs, because lately it's common knowledge that it's quite hard to get these jobs now, right? You see people struggling to apply to jobs. They apply, they don't get called, they get rejections. It's not like they don't have this skill set. It's not like they don't have this knowledge or technical know-how. But when they apply to these jobs, they still don't get called. People go ahead, apply. They don't get called. When they do interviews, they get snubbed by the interviewers and the likes. So today, our main focus it will just be on what are the problems, right? What is causing all this? Why are we facing this challenge? In For the past 3 years, since remote jobs got really prominent in Nigeria, the first 2 years has been okay, but after that, it's been something else, right? People apply to jobs, they don't get called. People apply to jobs, it's hard because everybody wants to get into this field. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and share my screen. Just a second. Okay, so why is landing remote job tough this period, this season? The truth is, many people are not ready to get this thing. Many people are not ready to put in the effort to get jobs or to get these things done. So I had a conversation with a friend, just a minor conversation with a friend this morning, and she reached out to me and told me, look, I just sent this link to like 5 6 persons who has been disturbing me that they want to join this session, or who has been disturbing me that they want to have an idea of what this session is all about. And guess what, nobody is online. Like nobody is awake, nobody is ready, like nobody is even there in this economy or in this period where information is being passed down through phones, electronically communication and the likes. Nobody is online. When you ask them, okay, do you have the tools for working remotely? They do not have the requirements or anything that okay makes me look ready to work remotely. So that's like a major problem. Most times people are really not ready to do this. And secondly, the field is saturated. Everybody wants to do the same thing, like customer service, tech, data analysis, sales, and the likes. So if this field is saturated, most employers don't even know, okay, does this person really have the skill set or not? Because of how saturated the field is. Everybody wants to do the same thing. And that's why when I talk to people, I always advise them, don't follow the crowd. Look for what you stand out in and, try to build yourself on that thing and start applying to jobs. You don't even necessarily need to start applying to jobs immediately. Start with doing internships, right? Start with doing internships, doing pro bonos, assisting jobs, trying to, get just building your portfolio for starters before you start applying to actual jobs. before you start applying to actual jobs. So those are the things you need to put in place before you take yourself into the field of trying to get remote jobs. Another reason why most times it's also hard is this: there is high competition. Like I mentioned, the field is very much saturated. Everybody is trying to, get the best gig. Everybody is trying to be in the best company. Everybody is trying to get the good job and all that. So the field is really choked up. All you have to do is look for a field you're good in and stand out in that field. Another thing is most people want to start earning immediately. They want to start earning in dollars quickly. They want to become, oh, I got my first job and my first job is paying me $10 per hour. I'm making my first $1 million today, this week, from my first job. It doesn't work that way. Okay. So you need to start little by little. If someone tells you, okay, let's start with sales role, you learn this sales role, you work in this sales role, get your little pay, go into the next one, you're acquiring more skills, you're acquiring more and more experience. So when you go into another field, the truth is they will still train you any field you go into, but the little knowledge or the little idea you have will also help you whatever you're going in the next field, right? So also take little steps. You don't have to like jump into getting the highest pay immediately. Just start little by little. The jobs that most people reject, try to accept them and try to do them. Then secondly, we have lack of remote ready presentation. Most people are not remote ready. I mentioned in our last training how I reached out to an employer, right? And I told them, hi, I was referred by someone to you to get this job. And the employer asked me, can I see your CV? Immediately. I sent him my CV and he said, okay, can we hop on an interview like right now? And I told him, yes, I was ready for the interview. Why? Because I knew I was actually ready for everything. I had my headset, I had my laptop, I had my internet. And these interviews, they check your laptop specifications, they check if you have your headsets and every requirements that you need, right? So when he said, can we hop on a call? I said, yes, sure, go ahead. And when we hopped on a call, he did my speed test, did everything, and everything was okay. And I started my training immediately for the job. That same day, in less than 2 hours. Okay, so that's how you should be remote ready for you should be ready to hop on any opportunity that comes your way. You should not say, oh, I don't have this right now, I don't have this. When you have little money, save or buy small 4 gig router that you can use. Try to look for a space where you can actually easily work remotely, where if you go to, you get electricity and the likes. Then the next one is post strategy. So post strategy, let's talk about your CV, for instance. You use one CV to apply for 14 jobs. You don't change anything. You don't look at the job description. You don't look at the things that needs to be changed. You just use one CV, and apply to everything. When it comes to cover letter, it's even worse. Cover letter is worse. You use one cover letter to apply for different kind of jobs with different job requirements. So that's why it's important when you're applying to jobs, make sure you look at the requirements, study the requirements. And when you're putting in your cover letter does not necessarily need to be long or plenty words. Just pick the major important things from the job description or from the job requirements and use it to create a cover letter for yourself and submit. Okay, so that's a way of doing it. Always change your CV, always tailor your CV to the job description, wherever you see. Then we talk about personal branding. Personal branding is very important. Social media, you have your digital presence. Use it to your advantage. Social branding, we have pages like LinkedIn. You can build your LinkedIn page to talk more about you. You see, LinkedIn is like an online CV. In fact, all your social media platforms are online CVs for you. You apply to a job, they go to your LinkedIn page to check what you do, to see the kind of things you post and the likes. There is a job we apply to and they ask for our Facebook handle. We have to put it on Facebook handle because they want to see, oh, what does this person do, and all, get to know you personally. So it's important that your online presence matters. Your online presence embodies whatever you are trying to portray or trying to be. If you're a customer service representative, build a LinkedIn page where it shows that, oh, you're doing the customer service job and you're getting paid. That's why I said earlier, apply to intern in companies, or apply to offer to work with people, even if you're not going to get paid, and add these things to your CV, add these things to your LinkedIn pages, build your Instagram page, okay, your Facebook as well. Make sure all these things go in line with whatever work line you're working with. So that's a way to, brand yourself personally. And then there are recruiter red flags. I will not talk about this recruiter red flag since we have someone here that is going to, talk more on the recruiter aspect. Okay. All right. Thank you. Please, do you have any questions or any contribution you'd like to add to this? Okay, are we good to continue? If we're good, just thumbs up. Thank you. All right, thank you guys so much. Okay, so what are common myths and mindset shifts that we have lately? You get when you tell someone, "Hi, Alpha, now let's get remote job," they'll tell you no. Okay, let me tell you guys a story of when I wanted to transition fully into working remotely. I was working with a 9 to 5 company, right? And my pay was good. And most companies have job security. It's easy, they have job security. And I am like, I told my dad I wanted to resign. I wanted to go fully into working with him. My dad was like, "Are you sure? Because what if they sack you? No, 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 that you resign your main job." I was like, "Don't worry, I'll try my best." I said, "Okay." I told my mom was not in support of this thing because she was like, we are known to have this 9 to 5 job security. That's why you see people when they say, "Oh, what do you want to do?" They're like, "Oh, we're looking for government job. We want to pay to get government job." You see people paying 3 million naira to get a role because they know it will last long. They know, the job security is there. No matter what happens, you have something always giving you income. It's good, right? Getting a job with job security is good. But that's one major thing I know that is the fear with remote job or working remotely is the fact that it doesn't really have job security. Okay. So one of the myths about remote job is that remote jobs are easier to get. That's not true. That's not true. Don't let anybody lie to you that remote jobs are easy. Majority of the time, they are not easy. They are only easy if you know how to play your A game well. So they are actually very competitive and they require strategy. You need to know how to apply to these jobs. You need to know what to do, how to put in place. You don't just, let me resign from my 9 to 5 job. I'll get a remote job and I'll start life. It doesn't really work that way. You will sit down. Even most people who are very, very experienced still get times when they are down. They don't get jobs. They can stay for 3, 4, 5 months. They don't get paid, and they have to start looking for jobs. So it's actually very competitive. Then the myth is to work remotely. You don't necessarily need a tech skill to work remotely. Okay, so there are so many other skills that you can learn, like customer service skills. You don't necessarily need tech skills. Virtual assistant, you don't need tech skills. The thing is, there are just some tools you need to learn how to use. There are just some tools you need to learn how to use. Not necessarily you need to have major tech skills or the likes. Then the next one is remote jobs are scams and not serious. Okay, so there are actually legit remote jobs out there. All you just need to do is make sure you do your research. Don't wait for anybody to spoon feed you or maybe feed you on job opportunities. If I don't post, you will not apply. If you post, you will not research, you ask questions and the likes. It's good, but always try to do your research as much as possible. And then the last one is I don't have remote experience, so I can't apply. I keep telling people, regardless of the experience you have or the experience you do not have, put some things in your CV. You can frame previous roles. Like for instance, if you did a receptionist in a former company and you want to put that in your CV to apply for a customer service role, you can include it as a customer service specialist or a customer service front desk assistant, customer service front desk assistant. Just put a name that goes with customer service and pick some things that you did from that role that aligns with customer service and put it in your CV. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to write front desk administrator and then attend to people straight to the point. No, you need to be able to put it in a way that goes well with being a customer service representative. Okay, so you need to be able to do that because skills are transferable. And once you do that, even when you get a job, they still train you. So put these things on your CV. But the major thing is that you're able to defend it confidently. Whatever you put in your CV, defend it. You can put in software that you don't know. Go online, learn about this software, come back during your interview, tell them what you know about the software, but tell them confidently. You need to be able to stand and talk confident. Confidence is something you need. So I'll not talk much on that one. The next person will do that. Please, guys, do you have any questions so far or anything you'd like to add? Like any mindset shift or common myths you've heard about working remotely that you'd like to contribute? Any mindset shift any of us have? Felix, do you have any mindset shifts that that you like to add for us?
The English is plenty from you. One is mindset shift.
Mindset shift. Okay, let's see. Do you have any common myths? Jordan, do you have any common myths you heard about uh, remote workers working remotely?
Okay, the we are Yahoo boys and girls. Can you people hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay. So the only thing I normally hear is that we are Yahoo boys, we are Yahoo girls, and we are lazy. You know, the Nigerian, or should I say the African system, everybody just feels like you have to go out in the morning, come back in the night looking weary and everything. So when people are seeing you just staying in your house talking all day, and then the next minute you buy a car or you get AC for house, they're like, no, now Yahoo. It's definitely Yahoo. There's no other thing that you can be doing. So
Thank
is
you.
is it in the line of the mindset shift?
It's in the line of the common myths.
Okay, common
So
myths. Okay.
yes, that anybody working remotely is doing Yahoo. Sometimes you see your neighbors looking at you with one eye. Sometimes they'll be like, you, what exactly are you even doing? Like, why are you sitting in the house? Why are you not going out and stuff like that? So that's like a common myth. Now, even imagine working remotely in an African household. That's even worse because when you're telling them, please keep quiet, I'm on a call, that's when you start hearing, come and wash plates, come and do this, come and do that, because they believe you're not really working, you're not really doing things that you say you're doing. So that's a common myth. And the mindset shift for that common myth is that remote workers don't necessarily need to, sweat all their life to prove that they're actually working. You can just make front of your system, you know, work, get what you want. Just make sure you're providing value for whatever company you're working for. Thank
Can
you,
I add
Felix. Yes,
something? Yeah, so
yes,
another way to handle that is you can just one is to ignore a lot of people, because no matter what you do, people will always talk. So you don't start going to explain to people what you do, because security is also a thing. If you start letting people know that, okay, hey, I'm working remotely from an American company or a UK company, and this is how much they're paying me, you can come and see. I used to think like that before, but to be honest, you do not owe anybody any explanation. Do your job. Then anybody that feels that they you are a Yahoo boy and they maybe report you to the police. When the police they come, you present your papers and then lock that person up. Yeah, because you should be that vindictive.
thank you. Thank you for that, Felix. Okay, so those are like the common myths of working remotely, and we just mentioned some of them. I know we know others too, but those like are the most common ones. So we're going to have Felix talk on some job hunting errors, and also going to have someone talk on their personal journey on how they transitioned from just not working remotely at all, like not having any idea of how to work remotely, to start like to how they started working remotely, learning well and doing good. So Felix, this is your floor.
All right, all right. So Welcome to my channel, guys. No, it's Debbie's channel. Sorry. All right. So, I'm going to be talking about after you get your remote job. Yeah. So, a lot of people, when you get that first gig, you are like, you have arrived. So you want to show the world now that I'm earning in dollars and you're a millionaire. But I will advise you something. Uh, Let me tell you a story about a particular girl that I connected her to a remote gig. I think she was earning like $500 every week. $500. That's give or take. That's like 700, 800K naira. Her first salary. This girl did not have a good laptop. Her laptop was already like almost dead, but she managed to do the work. Her first salary, me now, good boy, I was expecting that she has the sense enough to go and get a new laptop. Guess what? She did not get a good laptop. She did not get anything. What she got? Bags, shoes, um, female stuff. So 2 months later, she lost the job. And then she was back again. Felix, you go help me. Oh." To be honest, eh? Me, I've been they like the babe. So I'll just connect you now. No wala. Enter. Another time an opportunity came, I connected her again. She was still using that same laptop. Now, after you work like 1 week, you earn well. Then the next thing, instead of buying laptop again, guess what this girl bought? iPhone. At this point, the likeness, the crush, and everything went from like 95% down to like 5% because at this point, I'm seeing that this one does not even have anything that is pursuing her. You just know that this one is not going anywhere in life. She continued that one for a while. At some point, she got a laptop, but it's something just tells you that if this girl loses this job today, there's nothing to fall back on. So I got to advise you guys, once you get your remote job, your first salary, it is not for you to start enjoying yourself. Your first salary is to invest in yourself. Get a good laptop. If your laptop is not good already, look for a better internet service provider. If you have fiber connection in your area, please and please do fiber. If not, if you can afford Starlink, get Starlink because MTN and Airtel, they will not serve you. I have a friend now that is suffering because of MTN and Airtel. He just got a sales gig, suffering every time, and he wants to come and work in my house. I say, bro, you can't work in my house. Me, I be married man. You need to either go and look for what's it called, a workstation, so that you can work, and then after a while, put the internet in your house. Because at some point you were earning very well, you did not think of getting fiber in your house. It is now that it's in that's holding your neck, where you now do a sales job that you're now running helter skelter. So please, guys, always invest in yourself immediately you get your first gig. It will be hard, it will be tempting. You want to chill with your guys, you want to chill with babes, but I beg, get invest in yourself, buy a laptop, buy second screen monitor, stuff like that. There's somebody here, I don't know if she's available now. On her first salary, she got routers. At first, she was using MiFi to work. But I explained this the same thing to her that once you get your first salary, please do not spend it on frivolities. Invest in things that will benefit you. Or if you get another job, and as God will have it, she lost that first job, but she was prepared for the second one. So it is those people who carry umbrella that when rain fall, they go fit cover themselves. But if you just they walk up and down, no raincoats, no umbrella, rain will beat the hell out of you. The remote job is there. You can get it. If you put your mind to it, you apply for 100 job links. There's no way you're not going to get even one. No way. And out of that 100, you might do like 10 interviews. And for every interview, you gain more confidence. So the fact that you do not have the confidence right now doesn't mean that you cannot build it. Build that confidence as you're attending more interviews. Put yourself out there. I never used to speak with an accent. Well, I told myself all the American film while they watch, it should not go in vain. I will force this accent and it will come out. So now, if I'm talking on the phone, I'm speaking with some Americans, and they're like, "Ah, you sound very American. Did you say you're Nigerian?" I'm actually Nigerian, but I had to put myself out there. I had to make myself uncomfortable to get this thing. Some of you guys that go to the gym, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you do not force yourself to wake up in the morning and go to that gym, you're not going to get that body that you need. So, guys, please and please, I'm not going to say much. I don't know if Glory is here. Please indicate so that you can just take it from here. I am actually done. Enough. A word is enough for the wise. So please, guys, once you get that first gig, please take care of yourself. Invest in yourself. Not iPhone and bags and for guys, women. Thank you very much, Debbie. Gloria, are you here?
Yep, yep. Good morning,
All
everyone.
right, all right. Glory, please, let's see your face. Let's see your face. Oh, have you?
To be honest, I'm not. You know what I told you now.
Yeah,
To be honest,
I get. Oh yeah, no, no, wala. Let's go.
guys, I'm sorry, you can't see my face now. But you know me now. You see my face, my small face. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'm honored to uh, yes, to say something. I'm honored to address you all. I'm very excited. Yeah. I mean, I think we have all we need. We have the platform, we have people who care. Yes, and we have ourselves. We have ourselves. We can, if we can show up for ourselves, I think that's all we need. Yeah. So once again, before I start, I want to appreciate everyone here, especially Felix and Debbie. You guys have been a great part of my growth. Yes. When I first joined the group, uh well, let me just see, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about how I transitioned. I'm going to be very brief how I transitioned. Although I haven't fully transitioned, I'm not where I want to be right now, but I've made a whole lot of improvements. Yeah, and I started with what I have. So when I joined the group, I figured out that there are people who care here. I have Felix, I had Debbie. Yes. So at that point, Felix was like, "Hey, I like to, train some people so they can, get some sales experience and all of that." So I indicated interest, and yeah, he kind of gave me some training. And one of the things I picked from what he said is that, you know, for you to do anything, he was just honest with me. He was blunt with me. You must have a headset. You need a headset. It's not a choice. You don't have to choose. You need a headset. Yes, you need a router. So do everything you can to get it. And so that was it. The other day, Debbie posted about like, if you don't have anything doing, this is a great place you can learn. This is a great place you can, learn and earn. She posted about affordable rent to own. I said, okay, if they will accept me, why not? Because I didn't have any remote experience then, any remote job experience, because I just came from, I was a teacher. From being a teacher, I got a banking job with Access Bank. I worked as a customer support officer in Access Bank, and then I said, "Oh, more, this is not something I can do because, man, I have a family, and then there's so many things, leaving early in the morning and coming back in the night, and then the pressure, oh, more, the pressure was just too much." Then I left there, got a business. Yeah, I was doing my business, but I just at some point I told myself, "Hey, what's your problem? That tech works. You know that people are earning remotely, and you have the idea. It's not like you have not heard. What are you doing here?" So that was when I took my life seriously. Yeah. So I applied to that affordable rent to own, and they accepted me. So there I started, earning small money, like $20. Sometimes I'll make sales, I'll earn like $40. I was like, wow. So almost now so dollar they sweet. So I had to, purchase the router like he advised me, and then the headset. The headset. That's one way you can get yourself ready. Like if someone says, hey, there's something available, like Debbie said earlier, and you're like, I'm ready to work, but I don't have is this something I can do without router? Or more, that thing does not work. Yeah. So when I had those stuffs, I told myself, like, yeah, girl, you are ready to hit it. So that was it. I started applying, to more companies, because I knew I could do better. If I could do well here with the little I have, come on, why not? Why not? You're already in the sea, so why not chase the big fish? So I started applying more. It's not like when you apply for maybe a job or 2 or 3 in a day, and you say, I'm so tired, I've been applying since. I applied on LinkedIn, I applied on Indeed, where did I not even apply? So I just had to put my eggs in different baskets. That's it. And at some point I needed something to combine the affordable rent on job with, because it wasn't giving me enough. So I thought of commission-based job. That one is easier to get because they're not giving you a base salary. It's just if you sell or if you book an appointment, that's when you get paid. So I got one because, like I said, it's easier to get. So I got one. They were paying like in pounds. If you are able to book an appointment, they'll give you like £20 or more. I was spending my entire life on the phone in the morning, because that was a UK job. In the morning, I'll call and call and call, do that one. Then in the evening, EST time zone now, I'll go and do the affordable rent to own. And that way I was able to save up money to purchase a mini solar device that I was using to power my laptop, and the bulbs as well, so that if someone calls you in the night and say, hey, let's hop on an interview, you won't be in the dark. Nigeria now. So I was just using the little money I was getting to get myself equipped to the, like right now I have a 5G router. I'm even like trying to get a fiber optic net. Yeah. So like they've said everything I wanted to say. If once you receive some more small money, just use it to equip yourself, so that if they call you here, you have all the tools that are necessary. That's it. And another thing, okay, I don't want to also, I forgot to mention one of my biggest breaks. That's the other job I got with Felix help. With all his training that he gave me, I got a job with a credit repair company, where we're kind of closing sales and all of that. Yeah, I got a whole lot of experience there, but I did not last there. They carry broom sweep me come out shower, but no, so but with all of the experience I got there, I've used it to get another one. With my little experience I gathered there, I became a star in another startup company. Like a star in another startup company. They were like, oh wow, she knows how to do this, she knows how to do that. But that experience was like, it was a small thing in a big company, but it's a big thing in a small company. So sometimes you don't always have to, look out for all the big jobs and all of that. You can look for startup companies, with your little experience. See, as long as you've done, like in this life, you've opened your mouth to tell somebody, hey, buy this thing from me now. This thing will serve you. My dear, you're a good, you can do sales. Don't just say there's no work in it. You can do sales. Start with the little you have. As long as you've told someone, hey, come in, we have this, we have that. You've done customer support. Yeah, so you can start with the little you have. Also, you need to look out for, since the competition is quite high, so many people, if someone posts a job now, you look at those who have applied, it's up to 60. This job was posted like 5 minutes ago. So you need to stand out from the crowd. You need to make yourself stand out. How can you do that? Just like Debbie said, check your CV, tailor it to their needs, tailor it to their pain points. Look at their pain points, what they need. You can just say, it must not start officially like, I'm excited to apply to, I'm happy to apply. I saw your job and I loved it. This is something I can do. You can just start with, hey, you mentioned that you need somebody who can do this and this and that. I've done this and this and that in so and so place, and look at the result. So just start with their pain points, and in as much as we have ChatGPT there, but you still have to sound natural. It doesn't have to be like a long note, just concise. And yeah, also there are some jobs that usually they'll tell you to make a Loom video. I see that people usually avoid those jobs. Yeah, so you can just look out for those jobs because people are running away from it. You can just make a Loom video. It's a training you have to give yourself, just like Felix always told me. You have to be talking to yourself. Just leave Nigerian movies, watch more of American movies, listen to their accents, speak it to yourself, do more of reading and read out loud. That way you get to improve your speech, the way you speak. Yes, practice a lot of times. Sit in front of the camera as if someone is interviewing you, and do a lot of practice. Open account on Loom, make some videos. Like if I open my Loom, you see a lot of old videos I did when I was just starting. When I watch them, I kind of I laugh, but I mean, it really helped. It really helped. I haven't got to where I want to be. Yeah, but I've made a whole lot of improvements so far. So look out for those jobs that require you to record a Loom video of yourself. So record those videos. It will make you stand out. At least, like one of the recent things I got recently is that they asked people to record a Loom video and no one was there to. I think I was just the first person who applied. It's an AI interview. Like I didn't know what the next question would be or more. But I was just bold. Even if you're talking in the rubbish, like we usually say, even if you're talking in the rubbish, just be bold about this. Just be bold. I was just bold. AI was asking me. I was just answering. At the end of the day, they responded to me, and man, it's been blazed all the way. So guys, you can do a lot with what you have. Don't say I don't have experience. You have the experience. You have yourself. Show up for yourself and always equip yourself. You have the bosses in the house. You have Felix. You have Debbie. They're always there to answer you. Once you send them a message, within the next 10 to 20 minutes, they are responding to you. So guys, what do I even know? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Felix.
Hey, Glory, I appreciate you more than you can ever imagine. In fact, quick backstory on what Glory just said. There was a particular time I was training her. She was watching me work, right? Guys, you have to understand, I've never seen Glory before. I've never met her. In fact, I'm in Abuja. She's in, I think, Enugu, right?
No, Onitsha.
So, you're also in Abuja now?
No, Onitsha. I mean Onitsha.
Onitsha, okay, Onitsha. We've never met before, but 5 people or about 8 people indicated interest in that training. It was only Glory that turned up. Only her. And that was fine. I did not collect any. Did I collect any money from you? I did not collect 1 naira from any of them. I just said, come and watch me do my thing. I love to sell people. I love to talk to people. So just come and watch me as I do it. Maybe it will just help you in some kind of way. Glory was the only one that turned up. And then, if I have never said it before, I am really, really proud of her for what she did, where she is now. Because another thing is, I posted something on my WhatsApp status where clients are like sharing my reviews from several clients. That job that she was saying, Felix is the one that even helped me. I did not do shit. Glory saw the name of that company on my WhatsApp status when somebody was saying, Felix was amazing. I'm glad I'm working with so and so company. Immediately, Glory saw the name of that company. Glory went to go and apply. That's when she got that job. Now, imagine the brain power, imagine the willingness to think about stuff like this and then going ahead to apply, get it, and see the impact it had on her life. That experience now brought her to the new job where she's a shining star. So, Glory, thank you for talking about your progress today. I really appreciate it. Now, there's a lot of people that have already gotten jobs from our platform here and they are not saying anything. I am not angry. My own is I just want to see all of you guys win. So continue doing what you do. and the sky is just a starting point for you. Thank you, everybody. Debbie, take it away.
Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Glory. It was really, really, what should I say? Should I say it's touching? But I'm really excited to hear about your growth and how well you've done. I'm excited about the commitment that you've actually put and how intentional you've been so far. And one thing I've learned from you is that you have to keep trying and you don't give up regardless of whatever situation is. And then you keep building yourself. With the little you have, you build yourself. With any little thing you see, you just try. And that was the same thing I did. When I first started, I got a first job. I was using my office laptop where I worked. I used it to do my first job. From there, I saved up, got a smaller laptop. Felix knows that laptop that used to turn around 360. And that was the first laptop I got. Then with that, I got a better laptop. And so far, I've been getting and building and getting. And the laptop I use now is bigger and better too. So that's how you build yourself as well. You don't use your first money to buy wigs. Most times my siblings will say, Deborah, let's go and buy expensive stuff. Like, no, I cannot buy, I can't afford it. Not like I can't afford it, but there are things that should be priority to you when you're trying to grow. Okay, there are things you should prioritize when you're trying to grow. Those are the things that are important that will also help you grow. That's called investment. Invest in yourself. Keep investing, keep investing. You're not where you want to be yet, but you have to keep trying to get there regardless. Okay, so we're going to the next session, which I really, really I'm blushing, but it's something I've been waiting for all day too. The recruiter's insight. So we're going to have a very wonderful, amazing. If I tell you about this HR person, majority of us knows him because he's one of the most awesome HR person. He was the person that interviewed me. Yes, he interviewed me. My first interviewer was him before I got my first job in a call center. He was the one. So let me not talk too much about him, but he's what every hype. So Uncle Joe, are you here?
If it is who I think it is, we need to start killing rams and cows before we say the first word.
This typing, it's
Hey, senior man.
my glasses
Was-
here. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for the past
I
sending
greet you, sir. I greet you, sir.
I'm really grateful to have this opportunity to speak here. It's like Debbie said, I'm familiar with most names here, and you guys are actually doing really good work. Debbie, Felix with the training, you're doing awesome. And Elizabeth, you're raising your hand. That name sounds familiar. I think you were.
Yes,
But,
she was.
Okay. So actually, you guys are doing really good work. Glory, hearing your story as well, story of resilience is really, it's what people really need to hear. All right, because before I get into it, the thing with remote work is that the mindset of Nigerians is they just want to bypass the struggles, get this get rich quick scheme. For example, I'll post like a job link with so much information regarding a job, and then you get lots of people still asking you details that are already on the job post. All right, they don't want to go through the stress of getting the information for themselves. They just want to be spoon fed. All right, so hearing stories about even going as far as researching the company, it's really good because it will really help you to stand out in terms of remote hiring. All right. So yeah, hearing your stories it's really impressive. David, I don't remember interviewing you, and I didn't shout at you.
Don't worry, even if you did, I'm
Don't shout
forgiving
on
you.
it, Debbie.
They were very stressful. But you guys were like the best of the best. So I'm not surprised you're making waves wherever you are now. All right. Okay, so let me get into it. So what really matters most in terms of remote hiring? All right. Oh, sorry. By the way, for those that I haven't met or we haven't met before, my name is Joseph. and Joseph Osakwe. So I've been a HR professional for now close to 8 years, right? So I've seen the good, the bad, and let me not say ugly, but creative approaches in terms of recruitment. All right, so I just want to help you better understand how to stand out and get hired in terms of remote hiring. And the good thing is Debbie, Felix, they have both touched upon, they've provided a foundation for me to work on, right? You know, with remote hiring is different from like in person, like a physical recruitment, all right? In the traditional hiring, your physical presence, all right, is what is what they really look at, like how you shake hands, how you dress, how you carry yourself, how you speak, basically how you communicate. All right, but in remote hiring, I think what's more important is your digital footprint. All right, I don't want to be doing too much grammar like Debbie. Debbie wants to use English to tumble her head, but but when I say when I say digital footprints, it's like they can't see in person. They want to know your traction, what you have done, all right, in your previous work experience. They're also looking at your clarity of communication and also how you present, how you do your work online, all right? So the hiring managers are not asking, can this person do the job? They're asking, can you do the job independently? You're working remote, no one is really supervising you or micromanaging you. Can you communicate proactively? Are you proactive? All right, without constant supervision. Do you have the right remote settings? Felix touched on that. Okay, Debbie touched on that. You are preparing for a remote interview. You do not have a laptop. You do not have an adequate space to do the interview. You're in an area where you're in bandy, so maybe you're seeing like 3 hours a day. It's not going to work. So you need to have all these things prepared. All right. So for us to understand remote hiring properly, I'm just going to go through certain aspects, all right, certain stages of the process in terms of remote hiring. All right. So the first one I'm going to touch upon is ATS. I know most of us have heard about ATS. It's the applicant tracking system. It's a software. All right. Before AI, this was the thing that was a stumbling block for most job seekers. All right. So the software, what it does is just really, it looks out for keywords. All right. It looks out for keywords. I know with things with software, with things with computer, there's no that human touch to it. There's no that there isn't any form of human empathy with it. It just looks out for keywords, and if the keywords are not matching what's on the job description, it will just filter away your CV. All right. So what I advise people when they are applying for jobs is study the job description properly, word for word, right? Study the job description properly, and then edit your CV, alter your CV to create those keywords that they're asking for. For example, like mirror the exact language. For example, if they say they need someone with good projects, a key requirement is for someone to have a good project coordination skill. Don't go and write program oversight, right? Let it mirror project coordination, right? Those keywords will help you skip through the applicant tracking system. I think Debbie touched on it earlier. That's why it's good to have different CVs or resumes. You cannot use one CV to apply for different roles. You're applying for a customer service representative. You're using one CV to also apply for virtual assistant, to apply for sales, to apply for even a tech role. It's not going to work, right? Another thing that will not pass the ATS is if you're not using a clean formatting on your resume or /CV. All right, you're using too much images. You don't even know you need images. All right, you're using too much images. You're using fancy columns or too many colors that can confuse the software. It's going to filter away your CV. All right, and then briefly talking about CVs. At this day and age, you would be surprised to know that out of 1,000 people that apply for CV, you can get up to 500 that apply for jobs. You can get up to 500 people that their CVs are, don't use a harsh word, but it's not good enough. All right, you'd see CVs that have different colors. I kid you not. The first page we use a blue color, the other page using pink writing, and I'm like, this person wants to make me blind. All right, I'm still young. I'm still 19, so I don't want to get blind before I get to my 20s, right? So let it have a proper format. Okay, your CV, you're listing the job that you've worked for in your previous place of work. Give us the name where you worked for, the establishment you worked for, the time period you worked for. Like if you worked from January 2019 to August 2025, let it be there, let it be clear. And then give a summary of your job role, what you did, right? Give a summary of what you did, all right? And then be specific. So rather than saying I was responsible for user engagement, you can say you increased user retention by 25%. All right, that will also help you scale through the applicant tracking system. All right. I know when it gets to the interviewer might ask you, how did you come up with the 25%? Like me, I can be that evil, but at least you would have prepared beforehand. But these are things that would actually make you stand out. Okay. That's how to bypass the applicant tracking system. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but it will put you among the top competitors that are applying for the job. Because like I said, do not let the numbers throw you off. You want to apply for a job and the job was open only 5 minutes, you're already seeing like a glory mention 60, 70 people. Don't let it throw you off. Some people do not even read about the job, they just throw in their CV and apply. So to stand out, please make sure you follow the steps that I've mentioned. All right, then touching more about CV and resume. If you're applying to in Nigeria here or in Africa, we use CV and resume interchangeably. All right, they don't actually mean the same thing. So if you're applying to foreign companies like UK companies or American companies, right, a CV is more detailed. So CV is common in like academics. If you're applying to certain, like a PhD, they will normally ask for a CV. It will have a list of where you studied and school projects you worked on, right? Resume is more concerned, is the general idea that we have here as CV, all right? And it should be maximum 2 pages, all right? 1 to 2 pages max. All right? And it has to be tailored, like I said earlier, it has to be tailored to a specific role. You're applying for a customer service supervisor. Do not give them a CV of working as a teacher. All right, let it be tailored to a specific role. Let it be concise. What happens with CVs that are 4 or 5 pages is, even if it gets through the applicant tracking system, whoever is interviewing, whoever is screening the CVs, I'm talking from experience, it can get really tiring for the person, especially if you're going through thousands of CVs a day. All right, it's easy for someone to miss out the key information. Your key information might not be in the first 2 pages, it might be in page 5. Right, so let your CV be a maximum of 2 pages. All right, and then in terms of CV, always lead with what matters most. All right, your impact. What impact did you have in your general work experience? All right, don't just make it generic. Like I said earlier, give actionable figures. All right, as a trainer, as a quality analyst, I was responsible for improving. As a quality analyst, I was responsible for improving the quality of calls by 15%. All right, let it be there. Don't go and give astronomical figures like by 90%. You know, usually it's not that possible. So when the reviewer is looking at this, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Maybe I want to know more about this person. So let your impact be told. Let it be seen through your on your CV. All right. Now, cover letter. Debbie talked about cover letter. Cover letter is something that's often skipped, but it's really powerful if it's done right. All right. A cover letter is your chance to show your personality and your motivation. It's not a reputation of your CV. All right. It's to show why the role matters to you. All right. You're basically using the cover letter to sell yourself. Why does this role matter to you? Why are you a good fit? And what can you bring to the table? Okay, it's 1 page. It should be maximum of 300 words. It's like an introduction, like you're opening a door to your CV. All right, so let's just sell yourself using a cover letter. All right, on your cover letter, you can also communicate your impact briefly, especially in the roles that you had more impact on. All right, so CVs, this is how you work with your CVs. Remember, let it be concise, maximum of 2 pages, and please ditch the colors. In fact, you're at an age where The AI is all over the place. You have ChatGPT, you have Gemini. They can help you with structuring your CV, right? But like Glory said, please do not go and use it word for word. All right. A funny story. There was a candidate that we scheduled for interview, and we were asking the candidate some questions, okay, regarding availability and other questions that we needed to clarify. And this candidate replied to us, and it was clearly ChatGPT written. I wouldn't have known, but the way I knew is, when you ask ChatGPT to provide you with an answer, and it responds with what's that? Certainly. Here is a concise version of blah blah blah. So I think the person copied the whole thing and replied back to the email, and I was confused. I was like, "Certainly, here's the short." I was like, okay, all right. And me, as a nice guy, as a cool guy that I am, I could have let it go, but of course, we have senior strategists there, the CEO in the email, and then the first thing is, no, we don't want this. We don't want to interview this person again, because the person was actually coming as a copywriter. So there's a risk of the person just giving ChatGPT the work to do all the copywriting, right? So that's how the person lost the interview. So be mindful when you're using AI, all right? Me, I'm not going to lie, I love it. It makes my life easier. But I'm this person, I use specific prompts, all right, with AI. And then after giving the answer, I'll tell it, make it sound less AI. Break it down. I don't want any traces. Okay, yeah, because there are some softwares that actually track AI written language. All right, so, but please use it. It helps you in terms of, structuring your CV. You do not even need to go far. There's on Google Docs, even Microsoft Word, there are templates. There are already CV templates there you can use. So make use of them. Please avoid all the pinky, yellowy colors that some people use. All right. Now moving away from ATS, CVs, and cover letters, when it comes to screening resumes, I mentioned I screen resumes. At most times for me, and I know some of my fellow HR professionals, they spend 6 to 10 seconds. Like, I can take 10 seconds to just glance. Let me just glance at the CV to see what stands out. Okay. So what I'm looking for is like clear role titles, bullet point results, right? Like, so basically a summary line that, that opening summary line that shows your alignment with the job you're applying for. Okay. Because if you're like, for instance, if you're applying for, let me use from my experience, you're applying for a HR manager, and then your summary of the role is talking about, oh, I've had so much experience as a customer service representative. I've handled this calls and this, and I'm like, okay, where is the relation to HR? Let the opening summary line show alignment with the job you're applying for. All right, it will make me now, okay, let me look further down your CV. All right, so what I'm scanning for is like patterns of success. All right, signs of readiness for remote work. Okay, so when I'm talking about readiness for remote work, sometimes I'd like to see you being familiar with certain tools: Zoom, Slack, Trello, what are the Notion, even Salesforce, like things that you have to use, Zendesk, that you have to, that's familiar with remote working, right? Because most job ads that are out there, if it's specifically remote, it will tell you, it will list some of the tools that they would like you to be familiar with. Let that be in your CV. All right, let that be in your in your CV or your cover letter. Let it be seen there. All right, it's giving me an idea. Okay, this person has an idea of working remotely. All right, like I said, showing your impact. All right, let it be like you could work with limited supervision. Okay, I constantly trained new hires that joined in on how to use remote tools. I'm just giving a example here. Okay, so the red flags. All right, so the red flags that recruiters look at on your CV is long gaps with no explanation. All right, sometimes, and I understand, sometimes life can happen. All right, maybe you worked 2018 to 2020, and then during the COVID time, something happened, you had a long gap of 3 years, and then your next job was 2024. All right. If there's a long gap there, it will throw a red flag. Like, what was this person doing? And most time recruiters just try to avoid it, and they just discard that CV. So what you can do is, in that time, I mean, depending on what happened in that time, I'm sure maybe you would have been developing yourself, reading books or working on skills. Try to include that there. All right, try to include that there, like a small note on just try to include that the 2022 20 did a training and so job, right? Because you might not have the opportunity to explain the long gaps during the interview. All right, a recruiter might decide to say, okay, let me just push this CV through, maybe because they like what they've seen already on the CV, and you can explain that. But sometimes you might not have the opportunity, so try to fill in that gap with what you've done outside of work. All right, be creative. I'm not saying lie, I'm saying be creative. You guys understand what I'm saying? All right. Or another red flag is you're using generic descriptions. So generic descriptions like a training supervisor, supervised new supervised conducted training for new customer service agents. That's one. Ran training for external customer service partners. All right, it's a bit generic. Like be have impact, right? So let's say conducted training for incoming sales representatives over a 3-month span, leading to 25% uptick in agents getting new clients for the organization. I'm just hoping you guys understand what I'm saying, right? So you're basically giving us a reason to pause, right? So that it doesn't end in that 10 seconds scan. You're giving us a reason to pause and not a reason to pass. A reason to pause and look at your CV. Okay, so you just have to be specific. Let your impact be measurable. Yes, you'll be asked that during the interview, but of course you'd have time from then and the interview to know what to say, all right, to know how to back up your answer. All right, that is why it's always advised, you see a job, do not rush to just go, oh, this job is there, to just rush to go and apply. Look at your CV, look at the job description. Is my CV tailored to what they're looking for? Okay, no, let me edit it specific. Take time, work on your CV, and then don't be like the other 100 people that are just sending in CVs. Right, I kid you not. We're recruiting recently for a senior software engineer, and I'm not even lying. Anyway, this CV was not from Nigeria, so it's fine. I saw a CV of someone that worked as, I'm not even kidding, a mechanic, and I was like, in my head, I was, wait, did this? I even wanted to send an email to the person. Wait, did you read this job description? Like, there was no sort of training or anything related to software. I mean, if you work as a mechanic, but I'm seeing some certification in software engineer, I understand you can be self-taught, but so don't be like that person. All right, tailor your CV so that you'll be able to at least get to the interview stage. All right, so now going on to the interview stage. All right, that's the most important part. That's the main event, the main show. All right, you have done the other part I've talked about is the pre-season. Now you're starting the season itself. All right, and this stage is already your mindset. You have to have your mindset ready before the call. All right, remember the interviewer is looking at, the first thing they're looking at, can this person work remotely? All right, so you have to test your devices, test your tech, your laptop. If you know your laptop is the one that takes 30 minutes to boot, make sure 1 hour before the time, let the laptop take that 30 minutes to get itself to wake up. All right, test your camera, test your mic, your lighting. All right, choose a quiet, uncluttered space. All right, I think this one is becoming a problem for some people, because I understand some people do not have, they might be in a large household where, like Debbie said, sometimes family do not even respect that you're working remotely. They want to see you wear suit and tie. They'll be making noise. All right, try and find a quiet place. If you cannot do it at home, find a workstation. And again, you'll find a place that you're going to work. you're going to do the interview, plead with, if it's a workstation that's a bit noisy, plead with them that you need this space for an interview. Because I've conducted interviews where we spend most of the time, the candidate spent most of the time apologizing and me replying, no problem. But of course, it was a problem. Candidate is talking, someone is knocking on the door, or someone is shouting at the top of their voice, or someone shouting, hey, Kene, where's my charger? It's just throwing off. It throws you off as a candidate. It throws you off as the interviewer. So make sure you have a quiet, uncluttered space. All right. Me myself, if before I got this remote work that I'm currently doing, I knew I had a space. I had power. I had electricity, good electricity. But to be honest, I did not trust MTN. All right. Felix touched on that. MTN can fall your hand when you need them to be at their best. So I went to a workstation. All right, and I know that they had fiber optic, and I used it to do my interview. All right, so before I got the job, Felix touched on, please invest in your devices. I got a 5G router, upgraded my laptop, even though I know I was getting an office laptop, but just in case something happens. So you have to have all these things ready. All right, then another important thing is research the company. Right, like Glory, I think Felix mentioned about what Glory did. Research the company. Just go beyond their homepage. Don't just stick on their homepage. Go beyond their homepage. Search them out on social media, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. They might have blogs. They might have recent announcement team pages. You're just touching the heart of the hiring manager, right? That you went far and beyond to research their company. I'm telling you that people that have had 10 years of experience, when you're interviewing them, you're asking them, what do you know about our company? They are stuttering. They're even getting the name of the company wrong. All right. You can clearly see that, they didn't even research the company, because most times interview starts with, tell me about yourself. And then it goes on, what do you understand about the company you're applying to? All right. You're already marking yourself down. If you're stumbling or you're even saying, it depends, I don't really know much of it. Right. It just shows that you're not ready and you're not organized. Okay. So another thing with the remote interview, during the remote interview, is always advised to have your camera on. I don't think I've heard of anyone going into an interview with the camera off. Have your camera on, show energy, smile, right? Make as much eye contact with the camera as you can, but smile, right? Funny story, I remember I was doing an interview with with a senior personnel of my organization, and then the person we're interviewing just, had so much beards and he was not smiling. He was just, boning. And then my colleague just DM'd me and said, this guy looks dangerous. Are we sure we can work with him? All right. So yes, you're not there physically, but your face tells. And the candidate was really good, but even when he was answering the question, it looked like, look, you must give me this job. So smile. Right? Don't put fear into our hearts. Make us think you're John Wick. You will find us if you don't get the job. So, smile, make eye contact, be specific in your answers. So I know when I say be specific, because I know most people, when you ask them, how do you manage conflict in a team? You see them going, instead of saying they're more of, so we did this, we did that. No, we're not looking for we. How did you manage a campaign? And I understand when some people say we. Some people tend to oversell themselves on their CVs or resumes, especially if they're applying for senior roles, right? So, and in their previous work experience, they haven't handled any of that. So, but they understand the experience, having worked with them. So it's easy for them to say we, because they didn't really handle it. But try as much as possible to be specific. I led a campaign that grew newsletter subscribers by 40% in 3 months. All right. It says more than we. Yes, we as a team worked. All right. So be specific. All right. I led a campaign, and then I led a campaign that grew newsletter by 40% in 3 months. You see how specific your answer was, rather than saying I handled email marketing. All right. The person interviewing you might not even know what email marketing is. All right. So just be specific. Show that you're also aware regarding remote challenges. All right, because like it or not, any foreign recruiter that's interviewing you and is looking to recruit from Africa Nigeria, they understand that we have power issues, right? So sometimes they want to know how you handle your remote challenges. That's why most of them will start with a test, your speed test, right? Some would ask you outrightly, what happened? What would you do in terms of power outages, right? Some wouldn't ask you. You can also use that as um, when giving your answer, maybe talking about how you adapt on a remote setting. You can sell yourself. Say, I have different internet service providers I can switch to in case one goes down. I have alternative power supply. You know, talk about how you manage your time, how you avoid burnout working remotely, and then how you are staying connected with a remote team. All right, it just makes them understand that you have you can work remotely. Okay, and then after the interview, you'd have the opportunity to ask questions. All right. If you have questions to ask me, I always encourage to ask questions and ask if asking questions will come from you researching the company. If you had researched the company, trust me, or you have researched the role in depth, right? Trust me, you'd have some questions to ask, right? Good specific questions. But please, if you do not have reasonable questions to ask, all right, just forget it. After having a wonderful interview, you now come and ask a question about Donald Trump. How's Donald Trump doing? Because you felt the interview went so well, you're happy. And then the person you're talking to hates Donald Trump. He probably lost his job because of Donald Trump. Trust me, the guy is just going to mark you down. All right. Or you're going to interview and you're saying MAGA. I'm telling you some things that my colleagues have told me. All right. So if you do not have questions, just say no, thank you. I have no further questions. But if I do have questions, I would send in an email. All right. So that is how you should conduct yourself during an interview. It's okay to be nervous, but don't let your nervousness turn into panic. When it becomes to panic, your voice will start shaking. You sound like you're crying. And trust me, it's going to be funny to people that are interviewing you, but it's also going to be scary. Like, what are we doing to this person? All right. Some recruiters are harsh. Like, I won't say harsh, but they're too serious. They probably don't have me. I like to start with icebreakers. But so I like to start with icebreakers, but some recruiters just go straight to it. So it's okay to be nervous, but try to build that confidence during the scope of the interview. So now, after the interview itself, I always encourage people to send a thank you email. The thank you email is basically mentioning something specific you enjoyed about the conversation, and now also reaffirming your interest in the role. All right. You can even go as far as connecting with them on LinkedIn with a short, respectful note. Hi, this is the candidate that you interviewed, and I'm just connecting with you here to learn more about what you're doing in this space. All right. It's also a nice touch. Some people like it. All right. So it's just pushing you above, like they said, the competition is a lot. All right, the competition is a lot. So all these things will just push you to the next stage. All right. So I think that's um, basically it. So just to summarize, remember, tailor your resume or CV to that specific job so that it can scale through applicant tracking systems. All right. So that whoever is reviewing would will not just spend 10 seconds and discard your CV. Prepare very well for your interviews. Make sure your devices are set. Everything is set. You don't want to be doing an interview and then you've disconnected. All right. So I think that's basically it. I don't know if anyone has questions that I can cover.
I have a question. Oh. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, Mr. Prince, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry in case I'm coming off muffled. I'm using like an earpiece. Uncle Joe, good morning. Thank you
Good
so
morning.
much for all the insights you've shared. I just
Yeah.
have a question regarding CV.
Yeah.
Let's say I see an opening for a team lead or an assistant team lead in a company I like, but I was a team lead in, say, 2021, and this is
Yeah.
2025. And from 2021 to 2025, I've been doing like sales roles, customer service roles. I've not been a team lead, for instance. Maybe I've been every other thing, maybe TQA, appointment setter. I've been every other thing, but I've not been a team lead since 2021, and this is 2025. If I tailor my CV to, I'm just thinking, so you could help me share insight. If I try to tailor my CV to reflect my experience, like do a customized CV that shows, my experience as a team lead, I would only have history from 2021. Like, what would that look like?
Yes, so Prince, that's a very good question. Sorry, I just opened the chat. I'm seeing some funny comments. Jordan, so you used to go in looking like a militant. Please, just try to avoid it. Moving forward.
No,
Because I've seen enough with Delta militants, so please don't add to my PTSD. All right, so going to your question, Prince, that's a very good question. What I would advise and what I know would work is you list all your work experience, right? As long as they're in a specific field. You're a team lead, right, in a customer or sales settings, and then your concurring roles were not in the team lead space. What our advice is this: yes, we talk about the team lead space. Now, in your other roles, let's say you're more of a customer service representative. In your summary of what you did in those roles, try to list some specific leadership capabilities that you're handling in those roles, even though the job title does not specifically read team lead. Because this is what will happen if I'm the one, or if anyone is reviewing your CV. We go through it and it's looking good. We see that, and you're applying for a team lead role. We see that your first experience that in 2021 you had was about team lead, right? You gave a good short summary and description of the impact you had in that role. I'll be inclined to look at your next roles, right? Your next roles, I'm seeing customer service representative. I'm still going to look at your summary and the impact you've had. So, and you're probably not holding a leadership position, but you might be displaying leadership capabilities. Just include it there. All right. We're not just looking at job titles, we're looking at the impact you've had, your summary. If you're even sending your CV with just job titles, right? CQA, no summary, I won't even bother going ahead with it. So just try to still mention those leadership capabilities, those impacts you've had on those in those summary sections, right? Yes, the interviewer will be more inclined if you get skilled during the interview to ask they might ask you started off as a leader, but as you progressed, you didn't have much leadership roles. Can you explain that? They want you to explain what they have seen on your CV. So it will be the opportunity to sell yourself during the interview. All right. Speaking from experience, we've had people that have applied for project managers, senior program director, senior roles, and you see some of them they started off in the senior roles, but for one reason or another, you see them are more of project coordinators or program assistants. But the way they communicate it, even in those program assistants, is related to a management or leadership role, even more than the program manager experience that they had first. All right. And they're usually scheduled for interview, and they usually do well in the interview. And when they get the job, they do the job well. All right. So that's how you should approach it. All right. I also forgot to mention, please remember, you should know how to, you have all defended your pieces, you've all defended your project before. If you are giving impact, sometimes it's hard to measure this impact. If they ask you, how did you, make sure you know what you're saying. All right, don't be one of those people that, I'm seeing a trend now, a funny trend that when you lied on your CV that you are this, they ask you to share your screen, you're not trying to saw your laptop. Don't go and be like one of those people. All right, so try as best as possible to research the role, know how to defend it, please. All right. So that's basically Prince. I hope I was able to answer that question.
Yes, thank you very much.
No problem. Any further questions? Jordan, I thought you said you had a question. Oh, I misread. All right, I think no further questions. Debbie, I can hand it back to you.
All right, thank you so much. That was really, really insightful. Jordan, you don't have question, are you sure?
No, I don't.
Okay, good. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Joe. That was really insightful and educative. I think me too, I got to learn lots of stuff from what you've shared. Thank you so much for that. So we can be right on time. We have 5 minutes left for our talk. I'll just go ahead and share with us the last things like the platforms that we need for those of us that are just starting to get remote jobs and the likes. I'll go ahead and share platforms. Um, we have platforms like the Upwork, although although Upwork is quite saturated right now, but it's still a good platform where you can use to apply to jobs and get other jobs. Like and so much more. And lately, I've also noticed that there are so many other platforms. Most times I get to share them on the group. There are so many jobs on a particular platform. You have to take your time to go through them yourself to, get these jobs you're looking for. Most times we cannot go in and search for, different jobs and keep posting. So maybe later in the day, I'll share different sites that we can go through, different platforms that we can go through, create your profile there, and then you can start applying to jobs. Upwork, I have mentioned it before, Upwork, most times, the best times to apply to jobs on Upwork are late at night, like 1 a.m. in the morning, 12 midnight, 7 p.m. at night. You can apply to jobs on Upwork. So later in the day, I'll go ahead and share different sites on our group chats where we can also go through and apply to jobs. And then some must-know tools. We have tools like Google Sheets is a must-know tool. You need to also know. Okay, for the group chat, let me go ahead. Let's share. I'll share the link here. So if you're not on the group, you can just join the group. Okay, so for tools that you should know, we have tools like Google Sheets is a must-know tools. Those are the basic tools that you need to learn to know how to use. Then we also have Google Docs. So you need to learn how to use the Google Workspace as a whole, because that's how to set a calendar, do video meet, use Zoom, use Google Meet. These are the basic things that you need to know. So once you're free or anytime you're chance, just go online and browse some things by yourself, make research and learn. Okay. So that's basically it for now. So we'll not shoot our time. But if you have any questions or any contribution or anything you'd like to add, please feel free. The floor is yours now. Please let me know if you have any questions. If you don't, we can leave a thumbs up.
I just wanted to add something, Debbie, right?
Okay.
So this is a question that usually gets asked. I've been seeing being asked a lot in interviews, not just from my organization, other organizations. So, and because you're just talking about tools now, they were asked, how do you collaborate? How do you collaborate in a remote work setting? So what they're asking is, how do you work with your fellow colleagues in a remote work setting? So what they're basically asking about is, what tools are you familiar with? So you say collaborate. There's Zoom, there's a Slack, right? Of course, there's no longer Skype. Microsoft Teams, that's how I used to collaborate with fellow work colleagues. All right, that's one. Then the other question they usually ask is, how do you make sure you collaborate? Google Meets. Thank you, Felix. How do you collaborate on tasks? All right, we are working on you're in a group working on a similar task. How do you collaborate tasks? All right, so they want to know how you're good with live sheets, like Debbie mentioned, Google Docs. It's a live sheet that 10 people can work on at the same time. Google Sheets, it's like the Microsoft Excel version, right? So just take note of these things because I'm seeing a lot of questions regarding it, especially if you're interviewing for technical roles. So that's all I have to say. Sorry, Elizabeth, you can ask your question.
Hi, thank you. Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hi, Felix. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Joe. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I wanted to just I needed clarification and then advice on how to go. I've been applying recently, and then I got an offer, and it was more of the job was how do you call it? It was based on
you.
commission.
Commission based. Okay.
Yeah, it was a commission based job. And then at first they said after the training they will pay us for training and all of that. But then you now put hours. I put in hours of work for the whole of that week, and then I made a lot of transfers, right, to the direct company, and it's based on your sale. The reason why I'm asking is because the advice is that we should take, even if it's the least job, at least just get used to it. But what I want to ask now is that how do you manage that? Like taking all of your hours for a job that you don't get paid for completely. Do you think it's something advisable that I should keep doing?
Josh, do you want to answer that or should I just go ahead?
Just go ahead.
You
Just
can, you can
go
go
for.
ahead.
Okay. So as long as you don't have anything doing right now, you can just continue doing that one to build like experience. Like you remember Joe mentioned something about not having a huge gap in your CV. So this can just
Yeah.
be that particular thing that you're using to just fill in that gap until you get another job. So do not stop applying for other jobs while you're actively doing this one. Just keep applying for the one that's your right fit, and that will help. In fact, the experience from Glory, she got the other one. She wasn't so good there, but that experience helped her in her new job, and now it's helping her. So this one is just to give you that grit, and then it should help you in your new job. Does that
Okay.
answer your
Yeah.
question?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Okay.
So I have a question for Joe.
Go
Uncle Joe,
ahead.
can you
Go
hear me?
ahead.
Okay, thank you. So this is in-house question. It might not be like remote job related, but it's like in-house question. So Joe, please share secrets for us. So if you are in like leadership roles, and I don't want to call it office, but like there's always some, you guys forgive my friend, there's always applicant in leadership roles, people who only work when the CEO, COO is present, and then they find a way to take credit for the work you do. Um, Maybe because you are not so loud or doing high service work. It pisses me off. And it can cause some sort of conflict that I try to avoid. So I'm just asking, like, as per HR, I know that HR, they say HR is not your friend. But like, how do you advise we navigate such situations when we have them with our colleagues at work? Because like it can be so basic, like someone doing you could do your task and someone just say cap on it when the Alice has the question now. Okay. It could be so basic, like you do a task and then someone else just comes and put a cap on it when your boss is around and then takes credit for it. Or you're doing some internal work and somebody just comes and tag it in public, like they're the one who did everything. Like within your internal team, in your management team, it pisses me off. So I'm actually currently facing one of those situations. So I don't overreact and cause the chaos. Like how do I manage such scenario? I don't know if I've explained this thing well, but it got to be.
Is it, you know, there are two Jews here. There's a counterfeit and then there's me. Is it me? Okay, no,
It's
that's
HR.
that's inside joke.
Is it
It's,
Yeah, they're
you?
actually two shows.
all right, all right, Prince. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Um, all you can do is, if the person is taking credit, stop the person right there on the corner and say, "Oh, okay, no, so no, don't do that. You're definitely going to lose your job. Or if you don't lose your job, the atmosphere is going to be toxic." So in that scenario, especially if that's your main source of livelihood, you just have to steady the waters. Yes, you can escalate it to HR, and HR will try to handle it as best as possible. But HR is your friend as much as police is your friend. Now, what I mean is that they might HR in trying to get involved might make that, in trying to make the situation better, they might create that level of awkwardness between you and your manager, and then if especially if your manager is a vindictive person, they will start plotting your exit. All right, you would be in a situation where nothing is working right for you. You're not getting the inputs that you need. Yes, you can continue to escalate it, but it's not worth waking up to every morning and you're now hating your job. Okay, if it's a job that usually has email trails, what you could do is, I read a very good, because I read about these things on blogs, and I came across a certain situation like this. All right, and the person, it was during a meeting, the person did the whole work and the manager took credit without even crediting the person that did the job. So the person got an email, email trail, and sent an email to everyone that was in the meeting. All right, it was sent it to the manager, but CC'd everyone in the meeting and said, uh, that was an insightful meeting. Thank you for touching on the work, touching on the work that we've done, specifically the report that I spearheaded. Just for clarification, I am attaching it here so that everyone will have access to the document. All right, and in her doing that, she just is she made it look like she was just saying thank you and just doing a follow-up to the meeting. But in her doing that, she's just telling everyone, this is my idea, let me do it. Right, and then the manager did not, because of the way she approached it, the manager did not have a way of coming at her and saying, if the manager did come to her and say, why would you do that? You know, I'm like, honestly, I was excited that you brought it up and I was just following up and saying it. So I'm sorry if it came out in the wrong way. But you haven't done that, trust me. He or she would think twice of doing it again. All right. But the best thing to do, Prince, in your situation is you have to have a conversation. Right? You have to have a conversation, be it your manager or your colleague, and talk to them about it. Tell them how it's making you feel. Right? A polite conversation. Mhm. Let them know you enjoy working here, but you know, you also like, you do not mind the person inserting themselves in it, but you'd also like to be given credit for the work you've done. All right. You have to understand, the first thing you have to understand is your work environment. You have to understand how it is there. All right. If you know it's a place that is overly toxic, no matter what you say, I'll just say, as long as you're gaining your own skills and your experience, you just be plotting your way out, maybe to get a role that suits you better, and an atmosphere that suits you better. Then you're out of there. Trust me, if the person that's taking your credit is not even smart enough to be studying it, when you want to go, they won't want to let you go. All right. So just have that in mind. It's not an easy situation, but you just have to be smart about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
Um.
some people
Yeah.
like to
Alicia.
avoid. Alicia,
Yeah. Sorry.
please
Go
ask
ahead.
your question.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It wasn't exactly a question. Can we hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My connection is bad where I am, but okay. So it wasn't exactly a question. It was a question Prince asked. But Joe has really covered most of the things I had in mind. But I recently read something about that where it said in every office, in every corporate And the only thing you're all there for is to make your boss look good. That is how to climb up in a corporate setting, by making your boss look good. You don't have a brain as far as your boss is concerned. Every brain you have belongs to him. So if somebody else is trying to take credit for your work or for your, everything, anything you do at all, the best thing to do, just like Joe said, is to bring that up in a way that look like you're not bringing it up. And then also, if you think a place is not toxic, the reason is because everybody's knowing how to, or everybody has learned how to play the game of backstabbing very smoothly, that you don't realize it. So at the end of the day, everybody's trying to just, look better to their bosses so that they can also climb. So if that person is doing that thing to you and consistently so, you should find a way to also, level up at your own game. The only reason why you would feel like you're being taken like that is because you're also not doing enough to also shine your own light.
Thank you very much. Let me go and take a degree in backstabbing.
No, I mean, that's what the corporate setting is, like it or not. If you think a place is not toxic, again, it's because people are playing the game really smoothly and you're not realizing it. So take it up from there. Thank you.
The only thing I'll just add to that is, do not avoid conflict. You have to face it with wisdom, because if you are saying, I don't want wahala, take the praise, take the award, look, you will remain where you are. You will never grow. So if somebody is trying to take advantage of you, always do what that lady in the write-up that Joe talked about did. Put yourself out there, but in a very, very constructive way, to never ever use emotions to maybe act out. Because when you act out of emotion, you start to say rubbish and then you look
Correct.
stupid. So just always control yourself, be constructive, and honestly, you'll go far. If you use emotions, or they'll fire you.
Exactly. Alicia and Felix, thank you for that additional point. Never use emotions. Trust me. Never. And another important thing: never fight your manager. All right. If you feel something is not going well, and you know you cannot handle it in a matured way, escalate it to HR. All right. Let them handle it themselves. I know most companies do already a 360 feedback, right? Now, with the thing with 360 feedback, if most members of your team are okay with the management of that team, and then you are fighting your manager, all right, you're not being tactful about it, you're not being smart about what you're feeling, it will be like it's a you problem, because everyone else on your team are okay with the management. All right, it's something you can bring up to HR, and it can just be like maybe kind of a miscommunication, or it's something that well-experienced HR teams will have that conversation one-on-one with both parties, and they will not try to mirror that gap there, all right, and make things work. Right, has happened. People have gone, like Prince, people have gone in those situations to now work into better work environment and even become friends. But like you said, in the corporate world, there's often a lot of politics that's played. So you need to understand your environment and be wary about it and be smart about it. But don't just take it lying down. Just be smart and smooth about it, like I just said.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Okay,
I think
guys, thank you so much. All right, thank you, guys. This was really a very nice interactive session for me, and I actually did learn a lot, and it was really exciting. So, this is the second session we're having this year. We've already had the first one, and it's on our YouTube channel. So if you missed the first one, you can view that there on our YouTube channel. I'll drop the link here also. And also, I just dropped a link for your feedback, guys. So we need your feedback regarding this session and for our and how we can do better for our next Q3 session. Okay, and you can also, in your comments, you can write the topics that you feel we should also talk about in our next session, so we can also elaborate more on them. All right, so I also dropped a link earlier for our group chat. If you're not there, you can join in. I'll drop a recording of this session in the group and a YouTube link for this session for those who were not present. And if you would like to share it with people, you can do that as well. Okay, Jojo.
Hello, Julia. Actually, need to ask question. My own question is, it's just, I just want to ask something. Just, how do I put it? Someone just asked me a question. I said I would get information since I'm here. So for people who are using Upwork, how do you link other payment platforms aside from Payoneer? Is it possible?
Yes, yes, it is. You can use
They-
GigPay. Yeah, you can use
Oh.
GigPay. So once you create an account with GigPay and they
Okay.
give you your US bank account, you can just connect it directly from your Upwork, and then you can just be getting your money directly to your GigPay.
All right. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Welcome.
All right. Okay. Andrew says he has a question. Andrew, I have a question. I am not audio ready. My apologies. So for those in sales, how do you handle the pressure that comes with not meeting sales targets? Even when you're putting in the work and staying consistent, there are times when I feel I'm doing everything right, but the numbers just aren't adding up. How do you manage your mindset, and what strategies help you push through those periods? Okay, so let's give this question to the sales experts. You yourself.
Felix.
Let me just laugh.
Felix, talk.
Okay, so what I do differently is the sales is in the dials. Now, you want to make sale, so you dial as much as possible. Dial like your life depends on it. You're seeing a lot of cars here, but before you see a red car, like the first example I gave, before you see a red car, you have to be looking out for a red car, right? So that particular customer that is going to say yes, that's who you're looking for. So just keep dialing and dialing and dialing until you get that particular person. Now, another thing I do is for each call I make, I make a statement to this person and I'm like, look, the only reason I'm talking to you right now is because I know that you're a decisive person. For you to reach out to us, that you're trying to fix your credit, or that you're trying to get this stuff, or you're trying to get that stuff, it's because you're being decisive. So what I'm putting in their mind is that when we get to that point where you have to pay, you do not have to tell me, I want to think about it. No, because I've already planted that seed of decisiveness in your mind. So in my former company, I left there December. I think we worked together, Jordan, Credit Wellness. My boss was always wondering how, as a Nigerian, I was almost always among the top 3 every month. Every single month, top 3. I'm not number 1, I'm number 2, or number 3. And then they listen to my calls. So I always try to use psychology. I read books. I check some. I research things about my company. I research things about my product so that I am very good. You cannot catch me sleeping. In fact, if I'm sleeping right now, you ask me about certain technical things in my business or in what I do, I will just start reeling them out. So if you know what you're looking for, if you're feeling like I'm not making sales, just go and do small research, just small. Anything that can just add value to what you're telling to the client. And don't make it very salesy. Don't be like, I need to, or you are trying to give rebuttals. At some point, just sit down and say, look, I'm not even trying to sell you. I know that you need this stuff. Be relaxed. I swear you will make a lot of sales by not even selling to the person, by just communicating. It might not be easy at first. You might need to get yourself in a rhythm, but that's just the way it is. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Andrew. All right, boss.
He's giving a thumbs up. He also asked another question. He said, for those in lead generation, aside from LinkedIn, where else do you find reliable leads, especially when targeting decision makers? Are there specific platforms, directories, or tools you found effective? So is there anyone in lead generation here who has done lead gen before?
When I was at DigiReps, I used Built-in. There's a website Built-in. I think you can try there as well. Just let me type it in.
Okay. Thank you.
You can try that
Built-in.
website.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, guys. So I think
Okay. I also did lead gen for some time.
okay.
Can we hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I would say that it depends on the industry you're in. For me, it was basically crypto, Web3. So it was easy for me to generate a lot of leads on X, and I also did on Instagram as well. You'd be amazed how you can reach these people also on YouTube. If you're able to get to their, you can find them on YouTube, you're very likely to find a direct email and all of those things, and it's easy for you to get. So it depends on the industry. You find the kind of platform that people in the industry thrive on, and then you can get access to what you call it, the decision makers. Instagram, YouTube, X, and what do you call it? Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, Facebook also. Facebook is a place where you can actually get leads. I think you'll find if you're able to manage Facebook well, it's a place where you can easily get
So
target.
Facebook, yes, you're able to get not just a lot of leads, you can get good leads, because chances are some of the decision makers you find on Facebook are quite, pardon me to use this word, gullible. They are very easy to get, because they might not even know so much about their own company. So the people you find on Facebook are those bosses with those very funny shoes, and they're very, very impressionable. You can easily get access to them. So yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. So thank you everybody for this session. We've overshoot like by extra 30 minutes, and I believe it was actually worth every minute because I enjoyed it. So guys, I think this has brought us to the end of our session. I dropped a feedback form. Please, if you have 2 minutes, please fill the form. There is also a link to our group chat and a link to our previous session. So see you all in the group chat and see you all
Thank
next
you.
quarter,
Thank you, Jordan.
next
Thank you,
session.
Felix. Thank
You're
you,
Bye.
Joe.
welcome.